Hey everybody, this is Elena Medeiros, and today we're going to be talking about the 21st Century Grant Review process. A 21st Century Community Learning Center, or a 21 CCLC, is a location providing non-formal linked learning activities through a coordination of community and school programs. Some examples include a Boys and Girls Club, Beacons, YMCA, etc. A CCLC requires a partnership between at least one educational agency and at least one other eligible entity. The purpose of the program is to establish or expand community learning centers that provide students with enrichment opportunities during non-school hours or periods when school is not in session, such as before and after school or during the summer. CCLCs provide opportunities for students to feel a sense of belonging, have influence over their opportunities, fulfill individual needs, share common experiences, and be actively engaged in learning together and from each other. The Minnesota Department of Education has administered the 21st Century Community Learning Centers program since 2002. We'll now discuss the grant review process. MDE employees review all applications for completeness and applicant eligibility. Then, MDE selects peer reviewers for the applications who have experience in the provisions of academics, enrichment, youth development, and related services. Title 4B in the Every Student Succeeds Act grants Minnesota students the opportunity to review 21 CCLC grants alongside MDE. This $30 million grant is the only grant in the country that has students working alongside the Department of Education on this grant selecting process. Since Minnesota Youth Council members will be these reviewers, there are a few reviewer responsibilities to go over. First, the reviewer must determine conflicts of interest and sign the form. Secondly, the reviewer must maintain strict confidentiality regarding these applications. Additionally, the reviewer must complete an orientation process to ensure understanding of applications and evaluation criteria, and assign scores and provide comments on each application. You must also submit the scores and comments online, and be able to clarify scores by the given due date. Here is the MIC's timeline for completing these grant reviews. Starting April 24th, the applications will go live. And during the MIC Spring Retreat, there will be significant work time to review these grants together as a group. From April 28th through May 10th, Minnesota youth members will be reviewing these grants individually, and by May 10th, MYC youth members are expected to complete all grant reviews by midnight. Grant applications are split between several components. Federal competitive priorities, which is worth up to 5 points, state competitive priority, which is also worth up to 5 points, executive summary, which is not worth any points, statement of assessments and needs, which is worth 15 points, intentional design, which is worth 18 points, organizational capacity, 24 points, grant management, 24 points, feeder school and center operations, which is worth 3 points, and Excel budget with budget narrative, which is worth 6 points. You, as the grant reviewer, are responsible for rewarding points for each of these components. You, as the reviewer, will have to evaluate whether you recommend this applicant or whether you cannot recommend the applicant for funding under any circumstances. It doesn't matter as much if what we see is accurate as long as we are consistent about how we see it. We're hoping that there is a general consensus within the Minnesota Youth Council over whether or not you recommend or do not recommend a certain applicant. Here are some helpful things to remember. Brain sharing increases reliability, so try to work together on these scores. And also score each application independently. Don't let a previous application you have scored influence the application you are currently working on. And always score an application based on substance. Remain bias-free, do not make assumptions, use whole numbers when scoring, and justify scores with detailed comments. We want constructive language. Be kind and be clear. When we say constructive feedback, here are some examples of what we're looking for. Instead of defaulting to "this was great" or "no need for improvements," consider these sentence starters. The feedback that you give on these applications is crucial because it's feedback that those applicants will use for years to come. Grant applications will be located in SharePoint. That's where you will be able to read through the grants and also offer your feedback and your scores. Here is where you can read through a step-by-step guide on how to log into SharePoint, so make sure to read through the instructions carefully. If you experience any technical issues with logging into your SharePoint account, an email address with who to contact at MDE should be located at the bottom of the document.